Hey everybody, Luke here. Last week I shared a video from Sicilian Oven. This week I had a chance to talk to the creative mind behind that video, Sal Marotta. We started out discussing the video, but what happened is we got into a deep discussion on food service, video opportunities, especially in the age of the coronavirus, but more so in the new age of social media video consumption. Really fascinating interview. I really enjoyed talking to Sal. I think you're going to enjoy our conversation as well. Before we dive into that, I'll play a clip from the Sicilian Oven video that sparked this whole thing, and then we'll dive in. If you want to see the full Sicilian Oven video, check out the Food Service 411 page. Just scroll down a little bit, and or visit the Sicilian Oven Facebook page, and I imagine you can find it there as well. So this is an interview between myself, Sal Marotta, a video expert and creative mind who saw the same opportunities I saw when it came to utilizing the power of video to get your message out, your restaurant's message out to your customers during this coronavirus crisis. Enjoy, and all for one and one for food.
No touch takeout simply means there's no contact with your food or its containers from the cook to your car. In addition to following all health code regulations such as cooks wearing hats, gloves, and sanitizing all workstations, the individual now packaging your food is required to wear gloves. We've also instilled a tamper-resistant seal for all third-party deliveries from our partner delivery dudes. We know these are trying times, and even though you may not be able to dine at our table, we're proud to serve you at yours.
All right, so I have Sal Marotta from S&M Media Group on the Zoom call line here. And Sal reached out last week when he saw the video of Sicilian Oven that I had shared out to Food Service 411. And Sal is the creative mind behind this video. And Sal, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to pick your brain for a little bit because obviously you saw my feedback on this, that it was the perfect message or the perfect example of the type of message that operators should be getting out to their customers. And I also did a little digging into S&M Media, and I saw that Sicilian Oven is a current client of yours.
Yes.
So the first question that came to my mind was, how quickly did you and Sicilian Oven think, hey, we have to get a message out there?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And Ralph and Andrew called me in as soon as they decided to lock it down and say only takeout and delivery. We can't have people in the dining room. I said, okay, let's put our minds together. And the guys, they're, by the way, just as a quick shout out to them, they're awesome guys. They've been my client for 10 years. They're I think they were thinking on behalf of me, like, let's do something quick and simple. And they're like, let's just put together like a little post on social media, like a little flyer, tell everybody that we're here, take out. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing a video. So we met the next day, sat down. I was really impressed with how they were so proactive. They already had everything in order. So when they told me all the things they were doing, right away, the commercial kind of like wrote itself. Now, I don't think they had an idea of, going sequence by sequence by sequence and clips and all that stuff of how it would show. That's what we do. But as soon as they described to me how they were doing it, I knew exactly what we were going to do to help the public feel confident that they would be safe in enjoying their cuisine. So I said, just give me a day. I went back and I wrote a loose script. Andrew came in, I think, the following day. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, we wrote the script. Thursday, we shot. And Andrew, he likes to improvise. He's actually excellent on camera. Don't be fooled. He could be an actor. I actually cast him in one of my short films. He's very good. And it's very rare. Most owners don't have that talent and acting ability to get on camera and do what they do. So I have a real advantage with them. That's why I actually push them more toward video. So we came in and shot it in front of the green screen. And, he likes to improvise. So I was helping him through the improvisation. And we got this really great sounding script. And the key line that I think that was really important for them to express their sentiment. I mean, everybody's wearing gloves, everybody's wearing masks, and we know that's I think that's commonplace. But I think what was really important for him to say is, even though you can't eat at our table, we're proud to serve you at yours. And I think that really let people know, you know what? I can still enjoy not only Sicilian Oven, but any favorite restaurant at my house. Like this is where we're at right now. So we shot it. I had a bunch of footage from him in the past that we've just shot a ton of stuff. So it was very easy to put the backgrounds behind him, show some food. We went in, my son, he's just started filmmaking with me. He shot all the handheld stuff actually. So it was pretty cool. 15, that was like his first time out. I'm like, give it a shot. Let's see. He did good. So my son, he gets credit for that. I'm sure he'll want to hear it. And that's how it came together. We edited it out, and they were very happy. And then to my surprise, you noticed it and gave us really nice remarks. And I was like, wow, this was a bit more important than I thought, because to me, it was just logical.
You know, and I wasn't the first person to see it in terms of like the corporate food service world. It came to me by way of Waypoint Foods, who is a redistributor and broker, and then from them it came through Tyson Food Service, and
Wow.
that was pretty impressive to how quickly it happened and the levels that it got noticed at. And to me, it just spoke to how spot on that message was. So kudos to you and your team for, scripting that, improving that, and pulling that together. As I said, it's just the perfect example of the sentiment that I think operators need to get out there. And I remember when this first started happening, even before they put the ban on restaurants and actually being able to go dine in. Before it was takeout only, I started talking to my team and saying that you need to get your accounts, your customers, and restaurants out there to go to video, because this is going to keep them connected to their customers,
Yes.
going to keep them top of mind.
Yes.
And while all this is happening, everybody thought at first, okay, people are just going to go chill at home, they're going to watch Netflix. And I was like, no way. Netflix, or
Nope.
when things are normal, people are going to hop on social media. They want to see what their neighbors are up to. They want to see what the rest of the world is up to, how people are coping with this. And there's all these weird things that popped up, quarantine, karaoke, and, people doing stuff that is connecting in a new way that is keeping them emotionally connected. And our restaurant operators need to be doing the same thing as well. So it's fantastic that you were able to get that out so quickly and so well. And I had to add a little note at the end to hopefully anybody who's seeing that say,
that.
I don't expect that level of production quality from all of you, because
Of course.
that's hard to do. And I don't want people to get discouraged thinking, oh, we can't do that, so we're not going to try. And that's the wrong thought. They even if it's just on their cell phone camera, they need to get out and get some sort of message out. And do you think, because you've been directing short films, you've been doing, camera work for a long time. Obviously, I know where my preference is and where probably yours is, but let's talk a little bit about why video is the best platform right now for restaurants and food service, organizations to be using.
It depends on who's doing the live video. There's no real set rule. Obviously, we own a production company. We look through the lens of the better the production, the better the audience is going to receive it. But that's also not a rule, because you see some people with what you would call the crappiest production and everybody loves it. It's what really is important. And I tell my team this all the time. We are really creative, and we can really get lost in the creative process. And I always have to, what makes me the director, not because I'm the owner, but because I'm the person who will say, hey, listen, clarity over creativity. So that's the first most important thing. So whether you have the high-end Canon or Arri cameras like we have, or you have your iPhone, clarity over creativity. That's the first most important thing. What am I trying to say, and why am I trying to say it? What's my objective about what I'm trying to say? Now, every owner who hasn't gone to college or worked from the corporate structure or had any kind of training, which is most business owners, they don't have an idea. They are just everyone's my market. My demographic is every single breathing person on the planet can have my product, because that's how they see themselves. And they also think the only objective is to get more business. And when you are dealing with that kind of mindset, and then you put a camera in front of them, all kinds of things can happen because they believe that every single thing about their company or their philosophy or their product is important in order to convey the reason why a person would want to buy their product or service. And I'm here to tell everyone right now, one reason, not a feature. That's another thing people mess up. So let's say I'm a restaurant owner. I have my iPhone. I have a server or a cook, someone I trust to, put me on, or I'm going to put them on and I'm going to shoot it, whatever. I don't have the money to go and spend on a production company. What do I want to say to the public? Am I making an offer? I'm selling pizzas. So we're going to do 3 pizzas for $25, or we're going to compete with Little Caesars, or whatever we're offering. That's the benefit to the client, to the customer. Lead with the benefit. A lot of business owners want to lead with features. Well, we have the best pepperoni and we use grinded cheese. No one cares. No one cares about your pepperoni and no one cares about your grinded cheese. All they care about is, what am I getting? What am I getting? Let me make an informed consumer decision about what it is I'm getting for what I'm spending. Then the features might sweeten up the deal. So number one, clarity over creativity. What do you want to say? Why do I want to say it? The why is, of course, you want to get more business. But in this age, that's not enough of a reason. People are being bombarded with marketing all the time, and especially on social media. If that's your only way of advertising, you're really in a very noisy space. Because I tell my clients who don't want to do television or outdoor, we do a lot of outdoor, we do a lot of TV, and it's very important to have some kind of mass media driving. Facebook just put an ad on TV. Why? They have access to every single Facebook account on the planet. Why are they advertising on TV? Because at this moment, social media went uptick like about 17%. That was last week's data through the coronavirus. TV went up between 60 and 92%, depending upon where you live. So the business owner who wants to say, hey, listen, we're using gloves, we're doing all these cool things, we have these offers. You're competing with the guy who filmed his dog doing backflips on a trampoline in a lightning storm with some tree that caught on fire because it got hit by lightning, and everyone's watching that. So the why is very important. Having the objective of just getting more business is not enough. So why am I telling you that we're using gloves? Because I care about your safety. I care about your well-being. And because we're in this together, we're going to deliver our products in a safe, secure way that's convenient and at a discount, because we know that you're not working. And there's a really good chance that at the end of the month, you might be thinking about, how am I going to meet my bills? So the why is not only about getting more business. The why is also about connecting to that emotional need of a person in concert with the physical need of the service or product.
Yeah. The best thing operators can do, restaurants can do, is be themselves, put it out there, and just stay in the mind of these potential customers. And if they are in the mood, right, they'll go there. So right now, everybody wants to see that, but with the additional benefit of the comfort and safety of the gloves and the masks and the message.
Yes.
Which is why, I advocate, be yourself, show what you're doing, and you don't have to say, hey, look, we're wearing gloves, but just have the gloves on in the video. People will pick up on that.
Right.
Show them that you're in your takeout video, how you're doing your takeout food. Show it, folding the bag over and putting like 29,000 staples into the bag and then a sticker over there. Just show that. You guys did a great job just showing the sticker on the package, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do those types of things. People will take away the message and you can still be yourself. Before the whole Corona outbreak, people were wondering, because you touched on this point, restaurants right now are competing with all the attention and visual formats that are on the internet. Let's take Instagram, for example, right? Hugely visual format, perfect for food service. But the average restaurant is competing for views with Yumleys and the Tastemades and those little video clips where the guy takes the potato and throws it at the bowl and suddenly it's mashed potatoes. And then he takes like cheese and goes like this and then it's grated cheese and waves a spoon over it. There's those quick formats that most operators can't produce content like that, and it doesn't make sense for their business as well. But if they can go on camera and just show, hey, here's me, here's my kitchen, here's our
Talk
team,
to
here's what
people.
we love, you know, that's the thing that they've got that nobody else has, and that's what they need to use in times like this.
Yes, and you touched on a really important point about those well-produced, like do-it-yourself kind of videos. Here's how you make mashed potatoes. They slap it down and boom, and it's done. I love those videos. I'm addicted to watching how they do it because I appreciate production. So I'm like, oh, that was clever. I like it. And as a director, I know how they achieved it, but they thought of it. So that's where the real, excitement is for me. Someone who comes up with something. But not only are you competing with those videos, you're competing with every person who went out to eat, who loves their salmon, took a picture of it and stuck it online. So all of the dishes of food are blending together. It's very hard for a restaurant. I mean, we do really high-end professional photography for Sicilian Oven, and it's not going to stand out on Facebook or social media as some meatball. Who cares? All right, another person ate another meatball. They don't even know a restaurant posted it. They could care less. But now, if I got a little video and I dumped a bowl of pasta on someone's head, they're going to watch that. And this is where the creativity part can come into social media. But I don't think that applies in this day because it's not a funny time.
Yeah.
But we use comedy often to try to penetrate the noise. But I think for restaurants, they really need to start thinking bigger than social media, bigger than Facebook, bigger than Instagram, because the second thing I think business owners right now need to really understand, and this applies for more than just restaurants, this is any retail business. So you have your core followers on Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're on, and you're communicating to them. And they're seeing you, and you know they're seeing you because they're following you and they're on. And your business drops by 70, 80%. What does that tell you? 70 or 80% of the people are afraid to spend their money. Or at least maybe 60% of that 70, 80% are afraid to spend their money. They don't have the resources to go out and eat out. They are really concerned about tightening their belt. So why bombard them with social media every 2 days, every day? You're hitting the same people over and over again. It's counterintuitive to say, you know what, let's not hit them every day because I need to make more money. I'm losing my business. I'm panicking. I need to do something. So they post the hell out of everything. So what business owners really need to think about is now, okay, if every restaurant in my area has gone down maybe 70, 80%, which is probably a realistic way to feel, unless it's like pizza delivery, like Domino's, those kinds of people, because it's cost like $5 for a pizza. They're not suffering. They're probably thriving. But you're pretty much in the same boat as everyone else. So you have to broaden your customer base. That means you have to add resources at a time when you are losing money, and that's a serious bridge to gap. So like I haven't said this to my Sicilian Oven guys, but what I want to say to them, which I haven't said to them yet, because it's almost like, going on a date and trying to get to third base. It doesn't work. But what I want to tell them is that now's the time to advertise. Now's the time to take a chunk of money every month and broaden your customer base, because there are people down the street spending money at another restaurant that don't know you exist, that would love to try something new. But that's the other thing. You got to broaden your customer base when you're only doing 20, 30% of your business, because the other 70%, they know you're there. They can't afford you. And that's a harsh reality. So broadening your base, that's the other big one.
Honestly, it is an investment.
100%.
It's as simple as that, because you're buying when the market's low. That's it. You're buying, and you're actually going to be able to get cheaper advertising rates right now.
100%.
For the most part. We've circled the wagons. We're looking at this and saying, how do we go? So I have always believed in these groups doing their own marketing in terms of social media, having somebody internal, because that internal person is able to live the culture. They can eat, sleep, and breathe the brand and really get the passionate work done. Now, as they grow, yes, it makes absolute sense to bring in experts that can do quality video production like you do, or that can build the website architecture that they need to run multiple locations. But they still need to have somebody passionate inside doing that. And if they have that, the next best thing is to start looking at those media outlets and working with groups that can produce visions for them. I firmly believe radio, of all things, is a great space for restaurants to be advertising.
Great space.
And then, there's always package deals with local TV stations that are usually doing, some sort of group buy where they can do a 50% dine-in certificate thing. That's the easiest way to get your foot in the door with TV advertising. But if you've got the wherewithal and the guts at this point to invest in marketing and advertising that you have not pushed yourself that far before, to your point, now is the best time to do that, because you're going to build that brand awareness for when things get better and people want to go back out and party. Like if you're the first restaurant to go and put a TV spot when you've never done one before, it says, when this is all over, folks, we're having a party, we're going to wear a freaking car,
Right.
You got to line out the door the day the ban is lifted.
Yes, you are 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more. Now is the time to invest because everybody's watching, and TV commercials they're a little bit lower, but for cable spots, I mean, if you have a restaurant, I don't know how it is up in Maine, but we have Comcast down here, Xfinity. You can buy literally a 3-mile radius around your restaurant for TV commercials. And for a few $1,000 a month, you can be on with 1,000 spots and really cover the area. And people who just didn't drive in your shopping center will know you're there. And at least down here, they have a really great program for people who want to get on TV. And for a few $1,000 a month, if you do that for 3 months to really start seeing a return, it's not a lot of money. $9,000 is not. If $9,000 sounds like a big investment, anybody out there, if $9,000 sounds like a big investment, you got to get a consultant to help you with your finances because you're in trouble. $9,000 should not be a scary number to a small restaurant. That should be something you should be able to do very comfortably a month, over 3 months, not a month. And what happens is once you start broadening that base, you train your internal people to get them to, you incentivize your customers through your internal staff to like your Facebook page, to like your Instagram page, to have that engagement and participation. So you have the mass media driving people to the restaurant. You have your staff driving them to social media. Now you got them. You got the information. You can do mass emails. You can do mass text if you have that kind of mechanism. It's not that expensive. There's services like $150 a month. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with like direct right to the phone. And you're hitting it with social media every month. So for just a few $1,000s, and if you have you get real excited and spend some real money on some production, all of a sudden it just elevates your brand. You no longer look like the mom and pop. You look like you're competing with Chili's. You look like you're competing with Outback. You look like you're competing with people who have the resources to do what you're doing. The only thing that's going to separate you from the other people is you're going to tell everyone where your restaurant is. And that's going to be the tell that this is a local business, because Outback doesn't tell you where they're located because they're everywhere. But that aside, you put yourself right next to those people. So what happens? You are now a brand. People think they have a brand because they have a logo. Sorry, don't work that way. A brand is a promise. A brand is a promise to the populace that they're going to get there's a certain expectation that is reliable every single time they have this experience. It's not just the logo. The logo represents that promise. So when you put yourself next to those brands, next to those giants, all of a sudden people associate you that way. So when you say we're going to have a contest on Facebook, it's going to be good. When we're doing something on Instagram, it's going to be good. Their expectation level is on that other plane. So that's the other thing that TV mass media will do for you if you have somebody coordinating the social media. And one thing you said that I think is probably the most important thing I think I've heard I consider you a colleague, someone who does what I do, that I've never heard before. The passion, and that is called the buy-in. Buying into the idea that this stuff is going to work, that our stuff is good. This is important. People need to know these things. The passion. Where did it go? Yeah. Where did it go? Where did it go? Because it's hard to find that person in an organization.
People know that they need this new media marketing person there, right? but they don't trust it. They don't
They
believe it. Like,
don't.
I know we need this, but I don't think it's going to change our business. I don't think it's going to help at all. Like, you hear these words come out of these leaders' heads and you're like, well, if we can't get you to believe in this, if we can't get you to push this forward, then how are you possibly going to help that grow your business if you don't trust it and you don't believe in it? And that's one of the hardest things. People know that it can help, but they don't trust it.
So they're afraid because it's the lack of control, because of the lack of information. And the other thing that I've noticed, especially about restaurant owners, they need to be right. I tell you, the idea that they would make a mistake is so painful for them. I have to be very sensitive and delicate with how I present things, because I can see it's so important to them that they're proving to themselves on a daily basis that they know what they're doing. And because they've never been formally trained, many of them, some of them have, some come out of like Darden. I mean, if you come from Darden, I was trained when I was younger. I was in the restaurant business. Actually, I got trained formal general manager, formal assistant manager. I did everything. So it's easy for me to market restaurants. I understand the food costs and all the forces. I actually have a saying, the restaurant business is run by pennies and seconds. If the drink gets to the table a couple, 2 seconds too late, you have a problem. If you lose a couple of pennies on every slice of cheese every day, that's your vacation for small business. So pennies and seconds is where they live. So the pressure's high. There's always food in the window. There's always someone at the front door. Someone's always calling in sick. And all of these forces, they're never really feeling like it's working, but it is working.
So much of the technology has changed in the last, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, half the, like, look at TikTok, that came out of left field, and that's on the heels of Snapchat. If you follow Gary Vaynerchuk at all, like, he's always on that next newest platform. How are we as creative professionals supposed to expect anybody that's working a 14-hour day to stay up on this stuff? So one of the things that I see happening is, especially in food service, it is so easy for an owner or for a manager to put other responsibilities in front of them, and at the end of the day, yep, sorry, I didn't have time to get to that one. And
always
it gets backburnered, and maybe I'll talk to Joey the dishwasher and see, he's good with his camera, maybe he'll want to do this stuff, and then maybe hopefully Joey can start doing something. But it's always one of those things that the can gets kicked down the road. And I think now, and I did a video with another group, another panel, and we talked about the use of downtime. Right now is the best opportunity to talk about buying advertising. Right now is the best opportunity to hop on YouTube and learn how to do these things. So you talk about education, like, don't be scared. There's nothing right now you can put in front of you other than, like, making the content itself that is going to eat up your time, that should prevent you from taking this leap forward.
Continuing to educate yourself is just learning about what's going on. And here's something else you touched upon that's really important. I'm not up on every social media platform. Everyone would think that I should be, but I couldn't tell you how to advertise on TikTok or Snapchat, because most of my clients, the market is not teenagers. The market is older people. So it's the Facebooks and now Instagram is starting to creep into the 40-year-old market. But when I say education, I mean the principles of marketing and advertising remain the same no matter what the platform.
Yes.
You have your messaging, you got your benefits, you have the quality of your production, you have to have the people's ability to buy, their interest. I tell my clients there are three critical points that we want to achieve for you. And if we get to this, we're gonna have success. Number one, we have to meet or exceed industry standards. So when you say that to a restaurant owner, they're like, you mean bigger than, better than Outlook? Yes. We have to be on that level, meet or exceed industry standards. That doesn't translate into $100,000. That just translates into being talented and know what you're doing. That's number one. Number two, it has to be effective. Our message has to work. Are you giving something away? Or is your offer going to be appealing? What is the messaging? It has to be effective. That's number two. That comes from research, market research. And then number three, it has to be in alignment with the client's vision. Because you can't get a client to buy in to what you want to do for them if it's completely different than who he or she may be. So one of the most important places I start is learning about the client. What do they love? What do they hate? What's important to them? Why they're in it? What's going on? Really try to become friends with them on a level that will allow them to open up to me what it is they're really seeking. Once I get that, all right, now I can formulate an idea that's in alignment with who they are. So when you produce something for them, they're showing everyone. They're believing in it. Look at my new commercial. Listen, isn't this radio commercial funny? Oh my God. And they're so excited. They're showing people, and anyone who says something bad about it, because we have all those naysayers and Debbie Downers and critics, they don't care. They defend it. They think it's great because they love it, because they're part of it. I did this because of you, sir. You told me A, B, and C about your company. We included this idea to be in alignment with what you're thinking because we agree with this. And now we've been able to make that to compete on a national level, local level, whatever it is, and it's going to work. And those are the three important things. It's got to be industry standards, it's got to be effective, and it has to be in alignment with the person who owns the business. And we can do those three things. And even as a self-owner, let's talk to the people who are going to make their own videos after this. If you can do that for yourself, find a company that looks like you, or you want to be, or you like, or how do I get to this? Oh, you shooting with your iPhone. Forget hiring a production company. We're going to do a free video today. You get your iPhone out and you do a few close-up shots of your food. Try to imitate the angle. Just have it next to you. Get an iPad next to you. Get your phone in front of you and shoot until you get what it is you think is close. And do that a few times. Spend the entire 10-hour day doing it. Get in front of it, put your earphones on. I don't have any in front of me like your headphones on, but the microphone, this way the audio is clear. No one's going to get mad because they have your piece on. We understand what this is in this day. And now you sound good.
You go and you spend, and it seems expensive, right? To go spend $1,100, whatever these phones cost now. It seems expensive, but it's the best money you will spend if you need to create content for your business, because you can spend that, and then you've got 4K footage. You can download iMovie for free. You slap your logo in there with a couple of pan shots, and the fact that you can get 3 shots from one camera now. It's got your telephoto and your wide angle and everything on there. It is just insane. And so you're right about emulating what others are doing. I did a social media conference about a year and a half ago to a group in New Hampshire. And I presented some examples of what national chain restaurants were doing. And they said, well, why would we do that? Why would we follow them online? And I said, because they're showing you what to do. They're showing you how they're talking to their customers. They're showing you how they're presenting their food. And you don't have to copy their message. You don't have to even talk to their same customers. But what you do is you look and take what inspires you about the way they're approaching their content. How can you do that for yourself? And you touched on a really great point, and it's my favorite part of working with somebody, and that's the discovery. The unique marketable attributes. If I had to say, Luke, what's your gift? That's my gift, is to look at a business and say, your unique marketable attributes are this, this, and this. Let's run with it. And there's that's exactly it. And people, it will resonate with their audience. So when it comes back down to where we started, right? What should people be talking about right now? People want to be safe. They want to be comforted. They want to know that they can enjoy the things they used to enjoy without catching the COVID, right? And if you can show them that and show them who you are, and your business is still there and your passion is still there and your people are still there, you'll win. That is the best that you can do and create at this point. And if you can build that message and build that in a media package, then, oh man, you're in the right spot.
100%. And the other thing about doing your own video with the iPhones, when a business owner gets into that and they decide, okay, I'm going to make this investment in this phone, I'm going to try, and they put something on Facebook and everybody loves it, and they will love it. I promise you out there, if you make your own video, your people are going to love it. What happens is they're like, well, maybe I can do it better next time. And they buy a light. And then they might do a little something else. And then eventually their mind gets educated. They've educated themselves how to make a video. They see the benefit. They go out and they say, well, you know what? I'm never really going to buy the $30,000 cinema camera because I don't want to be a production company. I'm in a restaurant. But you know what? We're ready to hire the guys now. We're ready to go to that next level. But in the meantime, there's a whole hell of a lot of things you can do between point A and point Z. And I think for all the small businesses out there right now, whether you hire a production company or not, I don't think that's the most important part of what's going on. It's connecting, it's showing that you care, benefit, and the reason. Why am I making this video? And what am I trying to say? That's it. You stay on those 2 points, it's going to work. It's going to be effective, unless you just are so unappealing that they skip you. I'm kidding.
No, and you're right. It's effective, it's appealing, and it is the new norm. And as much as I'm not a fan of this whole new normal term, it is where people are going. People are not reading as much as they used to read. People are watching. They would much rather watch a video. They would much rather see a talking head. And we touched on the point earlier, and actually, I want you to share any thoughts you have on this with people that are afraid to get in front of the camera. But we shouldn't be afraid of the camera now. The goofs and gaffs of live video are what make it memorable and fun, and just rolling with it makes it authentic and real. We can produce quality spots. You can record and edit and do everything on your phone, but even just going live is going to get your message out there. You should not be afraid to get in front of the camera, especially if you're just speaking from the heart. But right now and moving forward, we're not going back to a time when businesses weren't using video like this. We should be communicating. There will be a point in the very near future where somebody's going to call up and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from Cisco or some telecommunications company, and I want to talk to you about our new, video communications phones. Because what's happening right now are all these restaurants, all these businesses are realizing they don't have the infrastructure in place to video chat with their customers who are now ready and willing to video chat with them. They have to have their employees doing it with their personal phones. And what we need right now is a system in place where restaurants can say, hey, call, we're ready to take your order. And Samantha picks up, and you're looking at Samantha, and she's taking your order, and she's showing you the bottle of wine, and she's showing you this. That's the very next thing that will happen in this whole space. And we've had the technology for a decade plus, but we are now finally, it took a global pandemic to say, hey, you know what, video chat's going to be real. The whole Dick Tracy watch, that we've all been dreaming about. Its time has come. We've seen, the benefit here. So, but to your background in directing and getting creative, how do you get somebody that's uncomfortable, whether it's a business owner or an actor, to open up on camera and not be afraid of the lens?
Okay, well, I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. One as a director and someone who's being on camera. And I'm going to share a very personal story about myself, about being on camera. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. So as a director, most of the time when we get people on camera, they're paid professionals and they understand what it is to find the lens, be in front of the lens. They love the lens and the lens loves them. It's one of my favorite things about shooting. But when you get a restaurant owner who's not quite sure whether they belong on camera or not, most of the time I will ask them if they have someone else who can be in their place. Because to do it on the set as a director, to get someone comfortable within a single session is really difficult. I have done it. I do a lot of impersonations. So I'll start talking like other people to them. Like I'll either do my Christopher Walken or my Barack Obama, and I'll start directing them in their voice. And once they start laughing, they start relaxing. Once they start relaxing and they realize that this is supposed to be fun. It's not serious. We didn't get into the film business to be responsible. We got into the film business so we don't have to work, because we want to do stuff that's fun and creative, and we draw for a living, and we make movies for a living, and we do voices for a living, and we do graphics for a living. I don't swing a hammer, although I do like to swing a hammer. You don't feel like you've worked at the end of 12 hours. That's why we do this. So you got to get the person having fun. So I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but some people, they just never get there. For the person who is beginning and wants to do it and has camera fear, the cure for that is just practice. Practice, practice, practice. Get in front of the camera. Don't show anyone your videos and just do it. You're going to hate every single take. For myself personally, I've always struggled with being overweight. And it's been such a limitation about me getting on camera. I've been a great voiceover artist. I can act, I do impersonations, but every time someone puts a camera on me or I take a photo or like this really awful angle of me behind the scenes, I just I want to crawl under if I could crawl under my own shoes to hide, I would. It's just so painful for me to see me on camera. That was a few years ago. So through practicing and practicing and practicing, you know, my art director, she's brilliant. She's like, you have to get on cameras because you don't understand how much you are limiting your own success by not doing it, because she thinks I'm a good speaker and other people have told me that. So I'm like, all right. So I made a series of 13 videos on what's important about shooting video, like 5-10 minutes each. I never finished them. I hate all of them. I look terrible, blah, 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 blah. I want to just smash the monitor, all the things that go through our mind. And I shot it on the cinema camera and I had the lights and the shit and the whole thing. And it took me the courage to show other people that vulnerable side of myself in order to get past it. Once I started getting positive feedback, I'm like, you don't think I look really fat in this video? Because I'm like comparing myself to like famous actors and like, man, I wish I could feel comfortable on camera because I can say it like that. I can do it like that. But so once I practiced enough, I overcame it. And here I am. I'm on camera. I feel good. I feel fine. I don't care. People tell me, do comedy. It doesn't matter. So from someone who's in the film industry who does it, I understand. Practice, practice, practice. Do it. There are certain things, certain angles you can do to mitigate some of your angles that aren't as good as others. Find those angles and exploit them. Now, I'm not talking about the 17-story selfie that people, I'm not talking about that. Doesn't make sense. It's, I don't know why you got the same photograph on Instagram. You got two people. You got that Instagram pose with the eyebrows and the lips, and you got the 30-story, aerial view. I don't get it, but that's our culture. Find your angles. Find a good angle. Set it up on a tripod. Do it in private. Delete it all. Don't be afraid to face that fear. Once you get done facing that feeling, you make yourself laugh, it's over. It's addicting. Make yourself laugh on camera. Practice. And then you'll be surprised how much the world's going to love you, because they don't care what you look like. They care what you feel like. And that's what matters.
Yep. Incredibly well said, Sal. It is.
Thank you.
It is a matter of just being comfortable with yourself to the point where you can get started and not look back. And you just, once you go, and you're right, it is addictive. And you get better as you go. That first video that you put out there to share with people, and then you do another one and another one, you're only ever going to get better. I didn't know how to do a podcast a couple of years ago, and I was like, you know what? I need another way to get content out to people. Podcasting's cool. I'm going to try this. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And for the first few, I didn't know who my audience was. Am I talking to this group? Am I talking to that group? Didn't like the way I sounded. Is my mouth too close to the microphone? What is my subject matter going to be? Is it long enough? Is it short enough? And I just kept going and going and going. And it's taken on this whole other life. I mean, I'll make this video into a version of the podcast, and I'll put the video up on there. I'm still not 100% comfortable with myself on camera, but I just go with it. And I did a live video to our food service 411 the other day, and I don't remember what I was going to say when I started, but the camera was on, and I'm just like, hey, okay, and then I messed up, just blah, 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 rubber mouth, and I was like, all right, well, screw it, let's just do it. And as soon as that happened, all the good stuff started coming out. It was like there was a cork in my brain.
The barrier's gone.
Yeah, that's it. The cork of perfection was plugging me up, and as soon as that was out, it's like, then it felt natural, then it felt real. And anybody who is corked up right now by thinking they have to nail everything to get their message out is just wrong. Nobody is going to judge you and your performance and your message. They're going to be more jealous you had the cojones to get out there and put your message out there in the first place. So
and let them judge. Who cares?
That's it.
I never really cared what anybody thought, like throughout life. It's just been a philosophy. I care about how to make people feel. That's important to me, but other people's opinions I could care less. And I honestly mean that, because I realize that most people are opinionating about things they don't really understand. But it was my own self-judgment. It was my own lack of self-worth. And I don't want to get into this whole deep psychological part, but that's all it comes down to, that you're good enough. And you are good enough. You're better than good enough. You are more than enough to represent yourself just because you are. And people need to understand that. And as a business owner, your business, it's good enough. You are enough. People want to hear, and you will inspire people not only to buy your products, but maybe start something. And there is enough good in the world for everyone. So when you start coming from that place, your business is just going to go because it's just how it works. So love yourself. You're worth it. Get on camera, do it, have fun. You're also going to find in the editing room, whether it's iMovie or like some studio somewhere, they just start cutting out all the mistakes. They put it to you like, wow, that's me? I can't believe I'm that good. Yes, you're that good. And that's how it's done in Hollywood.
Yep.
And you know, you got to really just trust that the world feels just like you. And when you show that courage to make that step, they're going to love you for it.
Honestly, if somebody needed advice in food service to get started right now, I would tell them people, food, and atmosphere. It's the PFA. If you can nail that, you're going to show them what you just said. You're going to show them your unique side of the business. You're going to give them a reason to believe in your brand, and you're going to start building that trust and top of mind awareness. And
yes,
it doesn't
you are
matter how
100%
well
right.
it's put together. You know, you'll get better the more you do. But the world is run forward full speed with video right now. Nobody's looking back. You know,
Nope.
that this is it. This is your time. So Sal, I really appreciate it. And I want to mention before we hang up here that you said you guys are offering for the time being a discounted package for food service operators that need to get a message out there. You don't have to, I know pricing's different for everybody, but where, if they have questions, how should they get in touch with you? And you know, can you give me a sense of what that looks like?
Yeah, I can actually put numbers out there. I'm not afraid to do that for this type of crisis. It's not something that I need to hide. So generally, like usually, like just to give you a little background about what we do, how we do it, and the value that you're getting, we usually charge about $10,000 a day just to go out and shoot. And then there's a pre-production, a post-production fee, and that's going to get you a pretty high-end commercial. And sometimes shoots go into 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and you're like, well, that's not anything near what I could approach. I know that. But for the same quality level, same cameras, what we do is we bring people into our studio. We have a big green screen wall with no corners. It's called a cyclorama. We put the talent in front of there, and we shoot them for a few hours. We help them write the script. We help them get all their messaging right there while they're in front of the camera or their spokesperson. We shoot it. Whatever that script births as far as, you know, cutaway shots, will go out to the location with a smaller camera, a DSLR camera, not a cinema camera, because that takes a whole crew. But it's like a 2-person thing. We just get the small little cutaway shots, come back, edit it, and depending upon who is doing it and how many days it takes and all those things, it could be as low as $1,000. It can go as high as $2,500 if they just start getting really creative and want to shoot all kinds of stuff and start really piling up the work on us. So for as cheap as like $1,000, you can really have what you just saw with Ralph and Andrew from Sicilian Oven, minus a lot of the food shots because that was previous footage. But it's and if anyone, I mean, for some people it might sound like a lot of money, $1,000. But
I just wanted to add that in there for you. For anybody who thinks that sounds like a lot, yeah, $1,000 it's not nothing, but from somebody who knows what it takes to do the creative, to do the filming, to do the editing, that's a bargain. That's a steal. And that's you're really offering a lot there. So, you know, from another creative professional to that's a big offer. So thank you for doing that. And would you be willing to think outside the box with anybody who's not in your neck of the woods that wants to say, hey, if I film some stuff and can I call you and come up with a script idea and here's what I've got to work with, can you get creative with them?
Absolutely. So let's say a restaurant owner decides that they want to shoot and they want to kind of emulate what we did. Just look at our video and try to shoot it the best you can. Send us the footage. We'll edit it. If you prefer to have us shoot a spokesperson in our place with a green screen, representing your company, we can do that. You send us your other cutaway footage, or you can send us just some nice, good footage of your place that you think is relevant, and we can do a voiceover and we can edit it for you. The most important things you need to know is never film with the camera like this. Always turn it like that. That's number one. Number two, in your camera settings, 24 frames per second, not 30, not 60, not 120, 24 frames per second. And shoot in 4K if you have a lot of bandwidth to send it to us. If not, shoot in HD, because online 4K is really not going to translate. But what you do get with 4K for all you new filmmakers, and maybe people want to give it a try, be really, you can crop inside of your frame. So like if you're not like the best cinematographer and like, oh crap, there's like a little lamp in the back I didn't want to crop right in, you get the same resolution, you render it down to HD. And those are some quick little tricks that will save you a year of frustration of not figuring out how to, kind of get away with not having the craft of cinematography. So yes, we could totally help you remotely. And I don't even know what that would cost, but it would be less than what we just said, because we wouldn't have to go out and film you. So that would be an indicator of, be even less money to do something like that. And we love to do it. This is not a money-making thing for us. We just have to cover some of our costs and time. We usually have pretty big productions. Just shot for a municipality, City of Pompano Beach, and that was a real big one. So this is really for us just to get online. I got the idea of it because the responses we got from Andrew. I'm like, let's help. Let's do some stuff.
It's fantastic. Sal Murata, S&M Media Group out of Florida. Thank you very much for your time. This has been fantastic. And next time I'm down in Florida, we're getting a beer and talking more about this stuff, because I think we think alike in a lot of these things. So
I agree.
I've made a new colleague. The coronavirus is connecting people in new ways, man.
Yes, this was a pleasure, and you were an excellent interview host, and I like the way you think.
Awesome.
I like the way you think.
Let's talk again soon.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sal.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. For more ideas and information from the industry and for the industry, join the Facebook group Food Service 411.